Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with our mighty Jingles. Although today I'm being lazy, I'm taking a bit of a back seat, and this is a replay from one of my clanmates, Grimhawk65. Hawk you've probably seen in many previous videos where I platoon up with him regularly. Today he's driving his KV-3. It's a defensive assault game on Erlenberg. Now I don't have a KV-3, I sold mine just after patch 7.3 came out when it got bumped up from tier 6 to tier 7. He got given an upgraded engine, I remember that, because this was one of the slowest heavy tanks in the game. It's a very tough tank, the KV-3 though. 120mm of frontal hull armour, 90 at the sides, and the turret is 130mm at the front. It still has the same gun selection that it had at tier 6. Although in patch 7.5, and I think the reason why I sold my KV-3 when it became a tier 7 was because, you know, I mean, even as a tier 6 tank, it used to get into tier 10 games. As a tier 7 tank, it definitely got into tier 10 games. And while it did get a couple of buffs when it was bumped up to tier 7, it didn't get a better gun. And I just preferred the IS. Same gun, not as much armour, but much more mobile. Now, what you're going to see in this video is a lot of people doing stupid things. Now, that doesn't mean they're stupid players, everybody does stupid things. You watch enough of my videos, you'll see enough stupid things to fill an entire fail folder. But, you know, if you don't recognise your mistakes, you'll never learn from them. So, the first thing the enemy team have done is they haven't pushed far enough forward early enough. The second thing they do wrong here is, there we go, the very first thing that we encounter is an enemy tank destroyer. He's too far forward, without enough support. Now our IS here takes a flanking hit from that M6 and gets his engine set on fire. So he's burning away nicely here while Hawk pops up and finishes off this ARL, who should never have been that far forward. Now this M6 plays a good game. He's got the 90mm gun, and he takes full advantage of the inexperience of that IS driver to finish him off. Gets a couple of hits in a Hawk as well. Now look at this Tiger P. Tiger P's got 200mm of armour at the front. Why is he showing his side to that M6? And he does it again. Now the M6's 90mm gun is good, but it's not good enough to reliably penetrate the front of a Tiger P. And again, I'm not saying the Tiger P driver is stupid, but he's doing stupid things. And Hawk is very lucky here. Takes a hit in the flank from that T-29, but it bounces. T-29, very dangerous tank in this tier of game. In fact, very dangerous tank in a tier 8 game. Now the enemy team are very, very weak on this side of the map. Below average damage roll there, 357. T-29 gets away with 26 health. And does more damage to Hawk and kills his loader, so he uses a first aid kit there. And the enemy are pushing hard on the eastern side of the map, but completely failed to capitalise over here on the west. And Hawk takes a bit of a risk here. Yep. Luckily T-29 doesn't have a shot at him, and he gets himself into cover before the T-29 can exploit his exposed flank. No artillery in this game, which is nice. And an exposed T-34-85, okay. And Hawk sets him on fire. And the guy obviously doesn't have a fire extinguisher. rushes that shot there. He obviously, there we go, and that's why he rushes that shot. He didn't want to get shot at. Backs off. Shot whizzes by his front of his hull. And the T-34-85 is finished off, so there's a very, very low health T-29 down there. Now here's the thing with the Russian heavies. At this tier, the view range isn't fantastic, so we have no idea where that T-29's gone. But Hawk can definitely take one more hit from a T-29. So, off we go. Keep an eye on that enemy ELC AMX. He's rushing up by our heavies up in the north there. There's the T-29, facing the wrong way. Alright, we'll take him out. Boom, dead. That ELC AMX is running around the map. Look at him. Spotting friendly targets left, right and centre. So, bearing in mind that our VK-281 is just going to sweep all the way around the south and over to the west, Hawk's reasonably confident at this point that there's nobody behind him and he can move up and start supporting these guys up by the cap point. But he's reckoned without that ELC, who has managed to sneak back down to the bottom of the river and get behind him. Speaking of getting behind people, and that was a good hit. Oh, Panther. But Hawk's taking hits from behind. So he pulls into cover from the Panther in front of him. And what the hell is behind him? A big old hit, 218 damage. The Panther's backed off. There it is, ELC AMX. Now this was interesting. KV-3 does not turn very quickly at all, and the turret is very, very slow as well. So he takes another hit from the ELC and then misses. Now, here's a problem that heavy tanks have with the ELC AMX. And you're going to see when Hawk switches to sniper view, try and put a shot in him when he's reloaded. You just can't get the gun down low enough to hit this thing that's parked right on top of you. So, this ELC should be able to win this easily. Right, Hawk's tracked. He can't move. But yeah, there we go. Big mistake. Huge mistake. ELC's biggest advantage when it's hugging a heavy tank like that is to staying close, because you just can't get the gun depression to shoot him, and instead he broke contact while trying to turn around, and that's the only opportunity Hawk needs. The gun that does 390 average damage, well, forget it. And there's our friend in the Panther. Hawk's on 41 health now, 3%. There's only 3 enemy tanks left, and this Panther's in all kinds of trouble. And Hawk's blown his tracks off. Angle your armour, bounced. And the Panther will get another shot in him before he reloads. Oh no, he doesn't. That was unusual. 4 kills. Not bad at all. And now all they have left is a Tiger and a Tiger P. And there's only a minute of the game left. And they're both over by the hill with a farmhouse on top. There we go. Spotted them both. I Hawk does rush this shot a little. But, yeah, well, if that had been a hit, that would have been a kill. But if that had been a hit, with the accuracy of this 122mm gun, at that sort of range, you never can tell. And now all they have to do is stay alive for the next 40 seconds, and this is a win. And no, that Tiger has decided that discretion is the better part of valour, and he's not interested in dying and running up a bigger repair bill. He's backing off and waiting out the next 20 seconds. Although the Tiger P takes a hit there, probably from the VK2801, who's done a cracking job. And this was a relatively well played game on both sides. The enemy team left themselves woefully underpowered on the eastern flank, and definitely allowed the friendly team to totally overrun. I mean, 2 tanks on that side, just not enough. And the first one that we ran into was a tank destroyer, and that's just not good at all. No way a tank destroyer, especially not an ARL V39, should have been the furthest one forward on that flank. Just no way. That's just wrong. Although, you know, he's in an ARL V39, he probably just wanted to get it all over and done with as soon as possible. And I've driven an ARL V39. I can certainly sympathise with that. But, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games. You see people in good tanks doing stupid things. It doesn't mean they're stupid people. Tiger P, 200mm of frontal armour, constantly showing that M6 his flank. M6 with a 90mm gun, taking full advantage of that. Doesn't mean the Tiger P is a dumb driver, but nevertheless, you are doing dumb shit. ARL V39, charging forward, thinking he's a heavy tank. You're not. You'll pay the price for that. An IS, showing his side to an M6. An ELC AMX, breaking off and putting distance between himself and a KV-3 with a 122mm gun. It doesn't mean they're stupid people, but you can't argue the point that they did stupid things. And this is how people run up scores like this in games, taking advantage of the enemy team's stupid mistakes. And it's certainly, I always say, never interrupt the enemy when they're doing something dumb. It's just rude. Take advantage of it under all circumstances, and Hawk certainly did that. And it paid off. 4 kills, 2 damage, and that's a good result. And that is doubled, but it's still a 2000 XP game. That's incredibly good. 61,000 credits. 18 shots fired from that 122mm gun, 13 hit the target. And he took 11 hits. Frankly, I'm surprised he didn't get steel wall, but that particular award in this game went to a Tiger, which isn't something you see very often. So there's Hawk doing really, really well in his KV-3. And that, believe it or not, was only good enough to get the first class mastery badge. That wasn't even good. 2,000 XP in a game, and it wasn't even good enough to get Ace Tanker. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed Hawk's little replay there in his KV-3, a tank which I don't own, fighting a defensive battle on Erlenberg. Take care on the battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.